I want to turn our attention to Israel. We have our eyes on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. The Tel Aviv 25 index up more than 12% so far this year. Ester Levanon is the chief executive of the exchange, and she joins us now for a CEO sit-down. Ester Levanon, good to have you with us on Bloomberg.
Thank you.
Now, companies that are looking to raise capital, particularly technology companies, they have looked not only at the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, if they're Israeli companies, but also at the NASDAQ and U.S. exchanges.
Yes.
Are you seeing a trend where there are more dual listings, or do they want to go straight to the United States?
Well, it's quite difficult for the companies nowadays to go straight to the United States because you need to be a certain size. And usually when you're looking at starting companies like biomedical companies, which we brought today to NASDAQ, they are too small to be listed here, and it's too expensive for them. It's very expensive to be, by the way, an American listed company. So it makes sense for them to list on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, get accustomed to being a public company, raise money from the public, and when they are more successful and bigger and looking for the American market to sell, that makes sense for them to come and list on the U.S. market. At that time, they are mature. It's not that expensive for them anymore. And we believe it's good for everyone. It's good for the companies because they don't have to wait too long before they are able to raise money from the public.
Now, one of the changes that has taken place over the last year is that Israel itself has been reclassified. The Morgan Stanley index, the MSCI index company, no longer part of Morgan Stanley, but the MSCI index now classifies Israel as a developed country rather than a developing or emerging country. How has that changed your challenges to market the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange?
First of all, it's a big honor for us to be considered as a developed market. There are not too many of them. We're talking about 23 or 24 countries, not including some big, very big countries like China, India, Brazil. It's a real challenge because up to now, we were trying to attract foreign investors interested in emerging markets. And for those investors, we had a very good story to tell because Israel was a highly regulated market with the yields of an emerging market. Now, all of a sudden, we are a developed market. There is more investors that are investing in developing markets, but different type of investors. So we had to approach different type of investors, institutional investors. Usually they invest by sector and not by country. So the challenge is for the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, for its companies, to try and find those investors and tell them the story about the companies in Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. And now it's an interesting story because now it's a developed market, which everyone expects to be highly regulated, but still with the yields of an emerging market. And today, today was the highest level of the Tel Aviv 25 ever. Today is all-time high on the Tel Aviv 25, and it's not 12%, it's almost 17%.
17% now.
17%, yes.
Now, when you look at the profile of companies that are looking to list on the Tel Aviv Exchange, are most of them all in technology?
Not really. The mixture of companies, like the all-time companies, we have real estate, we have oil and gas, and we have high-tech companies as well. But the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, although we are looking to being branded also as a high-tech exchange, still out of the 600 companies we have, only 140 are high-tech, and all the other is old economy.
So it's a misnomer that it's just technology.
Yes, it is. But on the other hand, I would like people to believe it's technology because that's what we are aiming for, to attract more and more high-tech companies, not only Israeli, to the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange.
And what kind of reception have you met from investors in the United States to the efforts that you're putting forth for the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange?
Today we put it into a real test. We brought 14 of our biggest biotechnology companies to NASDAQ. We opened the market, and then we had a conference dedicated to biotechnology companies. And we had a lot of interest from investors and analysts coming to the conference, sitting the whole day until late noon, listening to 14 companies presenting different type of biotechnology. It was really amazing to see, and I hope we'll see in the future more investors coming for those companies.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Ester Levanon, the head of the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and a little bit of what is going on at the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange.
Thank you very much.